Yo, what's going on, Senpai Squad? Welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to my first ever weekly roundup. So this is going to be the new series I'm starting where each week I'm just going to basically condense all my weekly chapter reviews into one video because it's much easier to do. I much prefer doing it in this format. There'll always be timestamps in the description, so if there's a chapter you want to see me review and you're not really caring about any of the others, then you go in the description and just look at the timestamp for that chapter. Also going to be rating each chapter out of 5 stars, and just quickly, 3 stars is just like good, 4 stars is, you know, above average, like a pretty decent chapter, and then 5 stars is for anything that to me is just perfect in terms of hype, story progression, artwork, all of the above. Anything below 3 stars and you're starting to get a bit more, I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, we're going to kick off this week with Samurai 8. Now, we start off with this because I'm still really unsure on Samurai 8. Because I like it, it's Kishimoto, you know, Naruto, I love Naruto, it's probably like in my top 3, definitely top 5 favourite series of all time, but it's something very, very different, and I haven't decided yet whether or not I like this kind of different. But I feel as though my doubts are coming from the fact that I don't quite fully appreciate the world as of right now, mainly because, and this might just be something that I personally struggle with, I find it hard to understand the world in such a futuristic sci-fi setting when it's just plain black and white images in a book or on a screen. I find it very difficult to kind of picture what's going on. It's the type of thing which an anime adaptation would perfectly counteract any doubts I have about it. Unfortunately, an anime adaptation isn't going to happen for like another year at the least, probably something more like 2 years. So that's unfortunate. Still kind of warming on me. Other than that, the whole princess thing I thought was it intrigues me. I think that's probably the best way to put it. It intrigued me. I instantly took a warming to the princess, who obviously Hachimura is going to end up meeting at some point, and I very much am looking forward to their very faithful encounter at some point. I don't think it's going to be too far away, because I imagine the whole samurai princess dynamic will have to be built on from the early stages of the series, considering that the series is only planned to be going on for like 10 volumes or so. So in the next few chapters, I'm excited to see their interactions. I thought Daruma, is that his name? Daruma? The sensei, the little cat dude, I'm very intrigued on the fact that he's refused to speak upon his past, because I feel as though it may be some slight backing towards a theory I saw a lot of people having on Reddit and so forth about the fact that he may actually have some dark ties towards him, possibly even being the bad guy, because I think that we saw a couple chapters ago, we saw the bad guy and, you know, that Hachimura's father was thinking, blah blah, and then he got scared by the back of Daruma because it showed resemblance. It was something along those lines. Very interesting, and maybe Daruma refusing to talk about his past lies somewhere with that. But like I said, Samurai 8 this week, I believe chapter 6. I'm going to give it 3 stars. Like I said, I thought it was a good chapter. Nothing overly incredible about it. I think 3 stars is a solid ranking for it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. Moving on though into Tokyo Shinobi Squad now. Wow, I loved Tokyo Shinobi Squad this week. Tokyo Shinobi Squad is actually probably my favourite chapter of this week. I think mainly because it really was an improvement on the previous week. Chapter 2, I didn't think Chapter 2 was all that, if I'm 100% honest. I think coming off the absolute intensity and heat that we got in Chapter 1, Chapter 2 really, you know, it didn't quite fulfill my expectations I had. Chapter 3 on the other end, this week's chapter, absolutely fantastic. I loved it. The art was fantastic. We were introduced to yet another new character, and I think my favourite part about Tokyo Shinobi Squad right now, except for maybe the fighting sequences, are the characters. I don't really think there's a character I dislike yet. I like En, I believe his name is, the little Thai kid. Jin is obviously a badass. I love Jin. He's got that classic shonen protagonist where he's not really an idiot, but he's a bit goofy. very lovable personality about him. And now we've got this new guy who I can't quite remember his name, but he had a new Ninpo ability which we weren't aware of, and it's kind of like I think it was like Beast Ninpo who turned into kind of like a tiger thing. There was this incredible moment where he caught a bullet in his mouth. Absolutely fantastic, filled me with hype all throughout the chapter. We actually learned some very interesting stuff about En's Ninpo ability, and it's one of like 5 great abilities. It was something like that. They had a proper name, I can't quite remember it, but they were saying that En's Ninpo is having the ability of like remembering blah blah, and even has potential, I suppose, if you master it to a certain degree, to even dabble into stuff like brainwashing. But overall, like I said, Tokyo Shinobi Squad, probably my favourite chapter of the week. I'm going to give it 4 stars just because of the vast improvement it had over last week, and it kind of matched that first chapter hype that I originally had. The art was great, the whole chapter was hype, moved the plot progressively, and we were introduced to yet again another lovable character. Now then, Black Clover. I'm not too sure about what to give Black Clover as an overall rating, but I'll get to that at the end of it. Now, Black Clover does seem to be coming to a close now with this saga. The devil fight, I don't think can last that much longer. Although I say that, but part of me kind of thinks, well, when's Yami gonna come up? You know, what else is the first Wizard King gonna do? Nozel, all these people. Where you'd think, because Yami, you know, when Yami said that his dark magic definitely had some form of effect on the devil for some reason, that instantly sprung to me, well, at some point Yami's going to get there and he's going to play a key role in actually defeating the devil. But at the minute, Asta and Yuno seem to be having some form of upper hand now that they've got these new attacks and they're going in on the devil this chapter. And obviously Nero, I've forgotten what her actual name is, she was wishing for Asta to do this. You know, I think this chapter was called The Wish, something along those lines. And I just wonder whether or not Asta and Yuno are actually going to beat the devil, or whether Tabata is going to pull a switch up on us and he has got us all hyped up for Asta and Yuno just to have them knocked down right off their perch by this devil. I'd like to know what you guys make of that idea. But I do think that if, and that's if, Asta and Yuno do take down the devil, I feel as though they have every right, especially, you know, if Yami does end up becoming Wizard King, which I don't think he will, but it's a possibility, you never know. I think Asta and Yuno 100% deserve to be Magic Knight captains, and it feels like it might be too early for that, but you know what? I don't see why not. It'd be a very interesting, unexpected turn of events. I'd be very interested to see how Tabata would handle it for the rest of the story. But overall this week, I think I'm gonna give Black Clover a 3 stars because I enjoyed the speech and how Nero was putting all of the trust into Asta. I like seeing Asta and Yuno going in on that demon and really pushing him to his limits and pushing themselves to their limits as well. But at the same time, it just follows up my criticisms I've had lately. That is just, at the minute, it's not really my cup of tea. I'm not really enjoying it. Well, I am enjoying it, but not as much as I have been for the entirety of the rest of Black Clover. Kind of waiting to see how it goes. It felt like a kind of, not filler chapter, but it didn't progress the story that much in my opinion. So that's why I'm just going to give it a 3. Could have been a 4, but you know, maybe if it went on for a bit longer, but the Tabata's have been having some health issues, and I believe he might actually be on break next week. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. But yeah, that's my reasoning for giving it a 3. So then, The Promised Neverland. I believe this is the first time in well over a year I've actually covered the Promised Neverland manga on this channel, and I'd actually been behind by about 10 chapters or so, but I thought, you know what, I'm not too far behind, I can catch up before I do this video, and wow! Am I glad that I've caught up. So this whole demon-raised girl, it turned out that she could understand all along, and I thought, you know, it was too good to be true, you know. She must have understood, otherwise it just wouldn't make any sense on why she was just willingly going ahead with everything Norman said, and she was doing all this, and she understood what she was doing in the first place. I thought, you know, every time I was seeing her, and as chapters went by, I thought, nah, there's a catch. She 100% definitely has to understand. Now, I don't know if she obviously could understand all this time, but no one knows she could understand, or if Don and Gilda were told that she couldn't understand, and that was an order from Norman specifically, because Norman was a bit skeptical on what Don and Gilda were actually trying to achieve in finding Mujika and Sonju. I'm not too sure. That'd be very interesting, because maybe he thought if he said that, you know, she can't understand them, then, like she has done, she'd be able to willingly eavesdrop on them without Don and Gilda really thinking about the consequences. So it's going to cause for some extremely interesting and major conflicts in the next chapter, which I cannot wait for. I'd say out of all the chapters out that came out this week, I'd say probably Promised Neverland is the one I'm anticipating the most for next week. However, this chapter, again, I'm going to give it 3 stars because, you know, it was a good chapter, but I'm going to leave it just at good. On to My Hero Academia now. Redestro's powerful speech in this chapter. It took up the majority of the chapter, to be honest, in the fight versus Twice and all of his clones, the clone that looked like Shigaraki. I genuinely really enjoyed Redestro's speech, purely for the fact that it felt all too real. It actually kind of pulled on the heartstrings a little bit. I also find it really interesting how him and Shigaraki are going to face off, because from an outsider's point of view, looking at them, in all honesty, they're not actually that dissimilar in my opinion. And I think if it was an alternate timeline somewhere along in God knows how many universes there are in the My Hero Academia timeline and whatever, these two, Shigaraki and Redestro, you know what? They probably could have actually gone along, they probably could have built something, and they probably could have worked together in unison. But where is the fun in that? We want to see them fight. Saying that, however, I don't think we'll be going straight into their fight next week. I think we'll maybe go back to one of the older fights that have been going on for a while. Probably Dabi's fight, I think, could possibly be gone back to. I'd also like to see what's going on with Toga right now. That'd be interesting. But yeah, like I said, I don't think the Redestro versus Shigaraki fight will happen right now, so I don't think they'd sideline all those other fights. And Shigaraki versus Redestro, you would imagine, would be the final fight of the arc. And we've still got the big giant dude. I forgot his name, Giganta whatever, Saurus Rex, I don't know. We've still got him to come in. It'd be interesting if he actually fought against Redestro, if Redestro really pushed himself to the limits, because obviously he's got his expanding quirk. If he could expand his entire body to become really giant, maybe he could go toe-to-toe with the League of Villains giant pet. I'm not too sure, but I'm excited for next week. But overall, I'm also going to give My Hero Academia a 4-star rating because, like I said, I thought the art was good. I thought, like I said, it pulled on the heartstrings. I thought Redestro's speech was absolutely fantastic. I thought the cliffhanger was really interesting, as obviously he's been talking to a fake Shigaraki the entire time. Obviously, you knew that, but now he's face to face with the real Shigaraki. And like I said, I'm excited to see in which direction they actually take the next chapter, whether they go back to a former fight, they show us this fight, the Gigantosaurus dude comes into it. It's going to be very interesting. Like I said, 4 stars, maybe could have been a 3, but just because of how real the speech felt, I'm going to bump it up to a 4. And then last but not least, I actually want to talk about Food Wars. Now, I don't read Food Wars, and if I'm honest, it's not really my cup of tea anymore. I watched like a season or 2. I don't think I've quite finished season 2 of the anime back when it was coming out. This is going back a few years now. But it's officially now coming to its end. It's the final chapter of Food Wars actually this week in Shonen Jump. There's going to be 3 epilogue chapters, I believe, in one of Shonen Jump's kind of side magazines, I think like Jump Giga or something, I'm not too sure. But I still wanted to comment on Food Wars. I'm not going to give this one a rating because, like I said, it's the final chapter. I understand, like I said, I don't read Food Wars out. It doesn't interest me as much as it used to. But the common consensus I see from people is that it had an arc called the Central Arc, which was kind of like the peak of Food Wars, and ever since then it just seems to have been a downward spiral into an unfortunate demise of the series. It seems like it's really fell off, and I just hope, like I said, I don't read, so I'm not too sure, someone will have to let me know about this. I just hope that Food Wars ended in a way that the writer wanted it to end. I hope this wasn't too much of a forced ending for them. I'm not too sure, but what I can say is you had a great run, Food Wars. You, despite, like I said, your drop off, you were a juggernaut of Shonen Jump in the previous God knows how many years you've been around. It feels like a long time, and I'm really looking forward to see what the creators of Food Wars actually going to do after this. I'll be sure to give it a read to see if I enjoy it, but yeah, Food Wars, you will be missed, but I look forward to see your return with your new pieces of work. But guys, let me know in the comment section there down below any thoughts and opinions had for all of these chapters. Do you like this kind of layout I've got going on for the series, how I've got my rating on the side and everything, purely because I just felt as though doing separate videos for each chapter, it burnt me out way too much. I much prefer this style of doing it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already. Also follow me on Twitch, the links will be in the description down below. I've started to just doing some chilled out streams over there at the minute. At the minute I'm just playing through some Pokemon Black 2 and a randomizer Nuzlocke, so come hang out with me at any point if you feel like it. Follow me on Twitter as well so you know when I do go live when a video goes up on the channel, but I'll be seeing you guys in another video. But until then, peace.